CFM Radio. Video game news.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
What is up? Clusterfucked Media is back with your dose of video game, music, and news. What is up, Vector?
What is up, Drix? I mean, honestly, Drix, you know, I've been catching up on a good amount of games. Been catching, finished up Unicorn Overlord, finished up, started new game, or finished up and started New Game Plus on Dragon's Dogma 2. What else am I'm thinking about? Oh, you know, GameStop Pro week is next week, so I'm thinking about picking up a couple of games depending on the sales that are up there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I actually ended up spending my weekend with my new PS5 playing Spider-Man 2, which is you know, mechanically has a lot to offer. Visually, a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm getting to enjoy some of the upgrade features, you know, from the PS4 to the PS5, like 60 FPS visuals, and also things like haptic feedback, you know, while Spider-Man 2 might not be like my first choice of game to play on my PS5, I'm, you know, Mary Jane walking in stealth and feeling the vibration move from like left to right, you know, it has its moments of
it is kind of cool
visceral stuff that happens with like the new controller. And I'm playing Armored Core 6, is looking so much shinier. Things I already have, I'm enjoying. Diablo 4. So yeah, a bit of last year's backlog has been on my screen.
Oh, right. With Diablo 4, did that upscale too? Does it looking better?
Visually, much more enjoyable. I might have said it talking about it last year, but if you're gonna play that, dish out for the better hardware, because it's pretty, actually, you know, and I didn't expect an isometric, you know, kind of camera angle to hit like that, but yeah, a lot more detail.
Yeah, like I think it's funny, the most apparent part of the most apparent upgrade that Armored Core 6 has when it comes to PS4 versus the PS5 version is the robot loading bay.
Oh yeah, the garage. That is where you will find the ray tracing. The elusive ray traces.
My God, Drix, I don't know the depth of the lights coming off of my robot in the garage only. Can you? I don't know if I could live without it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of where you want it. You know, there's photo mode is awesome. I've taken some pretty fun screenshots of like bosses I've destroyed behind my robot and stuff. But yeah, you're gonna get your full ray tracing's worth taking photos right there in your garage of your mech.
And it's funny that you mentioned the haptics, because I do like I enjoy all the haptics, the games with the haptics. Spider-Man was one of the more fun games to me because it had that little haptics. I liked those, as cheesy as they might be. I liked those little the pressure puzzles.
Yeah, no, those feel great. Just to feel the L2 and R2 trigger buttons just push back against you as you're like trying to do something Spider-Manly, you know?
It's cool.
Like I'm not the biggest Marvel guy. I don't really like the universe, but I still get lost, you know, doing web slinging, exploring traversal. But yeah, the moments where your triggers are pushing back against your fingers really feel like something else. I'm like, okay, like there is an upgrade here from the PS4.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick shout out to if you ever get the chance, you can probably pick it up on the cheap. And anybody else who's listening, if anybody gets the chance, check out Returnal. If you really want to feel those haptics, and you really want to feel the depth of of what they can add to the gameplay experience, the Returnal is really cool, mainly because all of the different guns have different haptic feels. So everything feels unique. And it actually does. It's not like a gimmick. It's not like, oh, this one rumbles a little bit, this one rumbles a lot, this one rumbles on the left, this one rumbles on the right. No, everything, like, it feels like it's charging up Like if you need to charge up a shot, it feels like it charges up from a specific point on the controller and moves across the controller as it charges. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool sensation.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand why the price of that second controller I'm going to get is going to be what it is.
Yeah, hey, another thing to look out for GameStop Pro Week, and honestly, I got to shout out I don't mean to like super shill for GameStop, but if you're looking for hardware and peripherals, GameStop is 100% the place to go, especially if you're willing to shell out a little bit of extra for the Pro membership. If you find yourself getting any more than 2 controllers in a year, or you just buy them pre-owned. All of my Pro controllers are pre-owned. 2 of my PS5 controllers are pre-owned. I have 3 of them. Like, they're just as good most of the time. 9 times out of 10. Like, gone are the days of going to like literally any game or electronics store and grabbing like a $15 Mad Catz controller.
No, that's not happening anymore. It's
not happening. Like, you need even Xbox, a controller that doesn't have like any bells and whistles on it. All those controllers are like $60. They don't even have the haptics or motion controls.
Wow, yeah. Huh. Something to consider. So that's a good threshold. If you're buying more than 2 controllers, you might want to get into that Pro membership over at GameStop. Yeah,
get that pre-owned game going on, especially if you're in the market for Switch Pro controllers as well. Switch Pro controllers, pretty pricey ask when it comes right down to it. Everything else on the Switch you can get kind of at a good price. That's like one of the few places, or one of the few platforms that you can walk into like a Walmart and grab a controller for like $20. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you get those rock candy ones.
Nice.
Yeah,
but
like
the Pro on the other hand,
that's like $60, maybe $70.
Yeah.
But you go to GameStop, you get like $20 off if you buy used. Just saying, it's not bad. If you're a gamer on a budget, you're balling on a budget. Like,
yeah, the place for hardware now, I suppose, instead of physical copies. I'll go
instead of the
else
software
for my Final Fantasy 16. I'll check the mom and pops first, but the week of sales would be a good time to grab one of those too.
If you have the mom and pop.
Yeah, we might talk a little more about Final Fantasy 16 later too.
Yes, there's a couple of things happening with it, and but the other thing that I'm going to touch on it briefly. I'm not gonna, because we have an article about it over there on clusterfuckedmedia.com. First article in quite a while. Been able to sit down ever since the transition from, I guess we could call it digital print to digital video.
Yeah.
Well, I sat and I watched the Fallout show. I ended up binging it. I have a lot of opinions. I think it's good TV, but I feel as though that the show, as a Fallout fan, kind of misses the point of the franchise. Like
there's a bunch of elements, but something at its core is just a miss.
It's because I'll give you a preview of the article. Really, what the Fallout show shows you is the limitations of something like that, like an adaptation like that, because unlike Mario or Sonic or even like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, right? A story built around a pre-established
like narrative
or character, heavily established narrative and characters. That narrative in Fallout isn't built by anybody but you.
Yeah, your decisions that matter.
Yeah, so like even canon stories, like the canon story of every game, those don't exist until the next story needs to be told. So at the end of the day, to me, Fallout is it's good TV. Like if you want to sit down and you want to watch some good TV, Fallout, boom, it's good for you. But if you're a fan of Fallout as a franchise, You might, and you were maybe looking forward to maybe role playing in this world, in this area of the world, because you don't get to do it a lot. You might be a little disappointed.
All right, something to consider. Check out the full article over on clusterfuckedmedia.com.
The full article over on clusterfuckedmedia.com. And one more little piece of housekeeping before we get into the news proper is Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. What a Tuesday it was yesterday.
Oh my God, Drix! One of the few times you guys would see me rage. You want to see me rage? Like Vector was raging over on Tuesday over on CFM on Twitch, our Twitch channel. Go follow us over there if you haven't followed us. Man, I was playing Silent Bomber. I'm at a boss that says he's the final battle, and boy howdy, does he feel like it.
Yeah, that was quite the action-packed stream.
Man,
the ending there.
Yeah, man. You know, we'll see if that's the end of Silent Bomber next week, or if there's more game to it, or if there's like a new game plus with like an added challenge or something to it. Because now that I have the rhythm of the game down, it's funny. It's one of the, you could tell it's an old school game. There's a lot of exploration to be done, but the game doesn't want you to do the exploring, because you do the exploring, you explore the whole level, and then you end the stage with a D rank.
Oh yeah, funny. Yeah, you can dilly-dally and dawdle all you like, but we'll punish you in the points screen. Yeah, just get in and out, get all the enemies, and get through in time.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's like one of them proto speedrunning games. It's very arcadey. Say it like that. Very arcadey.
Yeah.
You know. So, but Silent Bomber on the PS1 was it's pretty cool. We'll see how far it goes next week. But what the more important thing is, next week, if that truly is the end of Silent Bomber, and it will be it's done and over with, the next game that I will be playing through is a nice, fresh, blind playthrough of Sonic Frontiers on the PS5.
Ooh, nice, very nice.
Yep, you know, I can't.
Yeah. Yesterday's games today, you know, something not too old.
Yes,
stepping into the
not
modern
too
age.
old. Not too old. You know, hey, I can't deny the poll. The poll was split one vote away. One vote determined it. And you know what?
Yeah.
Silent Bomber turned out was a pretty short retro game.
Yeah, it was fun, you know. Cyberpunk edgelord Bomberman over
Yeah,
there.
Cyberpunk edgelord Bomberman. He was pretty funny. Yeah, old Utah.
Yeah, Utah's got quite the attitude.
Utah indeed does have quite the attitude. Pretty much an asshole.
Yeah,
pretty
more or
much a
less.
douche.
Yeah, pretty point and shoot.
Yeah, pretty point
Or
and shoot.
Point and explode in this case.
Point and kaboom.
Yeah,
But-
and I might be picking up Earthbound, taking over RPG Theater on
That's
Monday
what I was going to
at
say.
8 o'clock Pacific. Is Mondays at 8. It's usually my RPG Theater time or my stream time. And yeah, I'm gonna start one of my bucket list RPGs. It looks like. So, see you then.
Drix, we're just going to call whenever you go on RPG Theater the bucket list streams, because, Drix, you had Mario RPG, now Earthbound, and both you've said it both times. Drix, is it safe to say that the next time you jump onto an RPG Theater, you will do another bucket list game?
I don't know. Only if it's Chrono Trigger, but yeah, let me I'm like ready to take on Earthbound again. I've gotten so far and, you know, lost data enough times. Even on like a bootleg physical cartridge, I've definitely lost some data on that one. But yeah, I'm ready to see the end of that.
Hey man, I love Earthbound. I can't believe you haven't played through the whole thing till the end, but I will be happy to see you experience it for yourself. But Drix, I think it's time now to get into.
Oh yeah? Would you like to hear some music?
I do believe so. Right before we get into some video game news. Drix, what do we got?
All right. That was the end of some in-game BGM, but we're going to kick it off with something from Donkey Konga tonight. A quick one. And this is a Kirby TV theme called Right Back At Ya.
Kirby, that's a name you should know. Kirby, he's the star of the show. He's more than you think, he's got maximum pink. Kirby's the one. He comes right back at ya. He comes right back at ya. Give it all that you got, take your very best shot. Cause then you're right back at you for sure, yeah. By his side, so won't believe your eyes. Kirby! Kirby's the one! Right back at ya! Yeah!
Peggy 18.
Gaming News.
CFM Radio, we are back.
Hey, that last song was from Guitar Hero. It was called Monkey Steals the Peach.
Drix, is that like the one original song from that franchise?
Just about. I think so. I don't know if they had somebody shred up like a final boss battle that was like original, but definitely in the first Guitar Hero game, like yeah, they had to get a band together for that one.
That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny they had so much licensed music and they had like no original tracks. That's kind of hilarious when I think about it.
I mean, that's not what you show up to the show for, I guess.
Right.
That was I think one of the loading screens was where I learned, the band is the dysfunctional family that you choose.
I loved those loading screens. Those little tips were great.
Yeah. Hey, don't suck at playing the toy guitar.
please try not to. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of games I jumped back into, Drake, I gotta say, one of the games I jumped back into, it's right on the screen right here. It is Palworld. Now, this is older footage, but and I wasn't able to put as much time into it as I'd like. But a story on IGN proves that the game is still causing buzz in the industry. But like, even if you see headlines that say, "Oh, Palworld has fallen off," a ton of users have stopped playing the game. Doesn't matter, because this headline is, quote, "After Palworld was accused of ripping off Pokemon, its CEO has accused other companies of making Palworld clones."
Wow. Yeah, definitely turned a lot of heads. And if anybody stopped playing, it's probably just so they don't break their neck, because, yeah, there's a lot of Palworld out there to enjoy. People palling around.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, you know what? Arc with Pokemon, pretty compelling stuff.
Yep. And has inspired some imitators, it looks like.
They definitely, from the article, quote, "In a tweet translated by a user Automaton on X, Takuro Mizobi, CEO of Pocket Pair, published a screenshot of a mobile and PC game called Auroria, alongside the following statement, also on X. Quote, "Tencent is already making a Palworld clone game. In China, many companies are simultaneously developing mobile clones of Palworld, and the budgets are in the 10 billion yen range, 10 times larger than Palworld. Next year, we might see many Genshin Impact level creature or Bishoujo raising games. These are incredible times." Drix, it just goes to show you, once something makes an impact in the industry, those ripples reach far.
Yeah, definitely. The Palworld devs should feel flattered that other people are trying to imitate their success.
What is imitation? The most sincere form of flattery?
Indeed, that's the proverb.
That's hey, and you know what? It sounds like, listen, Palworld is getting a ton of quality of life improvements, and even like little UI up-reses. Like like I said, I was playing the game, and I jumped back into it after taking like a couple months break. The server that I was on, it had to reset ever since the ever since one of the updates went live. So we had to redo all of our progress. So we were all kind of getting back into it slowly, and but I like I said, I can't come back after about a month. It's been about a month, like a few weeks, a month. Man,
yeah,
it's already like little things that like you take for granted in like AAA games, like graphical hit detection feedback, like automatic, accurate automatic looting, accurate automatic sorting. The building is less wonky, and things don't like if you can't build there, they're not gonna let you like put it there and then like have the it's like, okay, confirm build here, and it's like glitches for a second, and then like all of your stuff falls on the floor as raw materials. Like things like that don't happen anymore. Like pals in combat are a lot snappier. Like they still do the weird jump back and like square up against one another before they do attacks and things like that. But like it's not like how it used to be, and they don't like, oh, I jumped a little bit wrong and landed like on a rock, I better do another jump back. Like no, it's just snappy. It's like jump back, swing. It feels very action oriented. And you know what? Good on Mizobi and Pocket Pair. Palworld is still pretty cool. Introduced a new raid boss.
Ooh. That's content.
Yeah, and they showed off at the Triple I convention that just recently happened. Not a ton of news was shared there, but one of the things that was shared there was the new PvP duels for Palworld, and it looks like Palworld is going to be a 3-on-3 combat game.
Wow. I mean, how many of those are pals versus people? Like, that's crazy. That's going to get nuts.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So, Palworld, copycats are coming. You should be, hey, Drix, I'll say it like this. We might be able to play a Palworld like Mizobi says, on our phone in a few months.
Yeah, that's, good luck keeping up with that and all those updates and patches. I don't know whose phone can handle.
Are we about to see the next coming of like a Pokemon Go like or like a Genshin Impact like?
Yeah, I haven't played any Genshin Impact, but it's
you don't want
to be expected. Yeah, steering away from that one so far.
And that is Palworld, and we're gonna get to some more music, but right before we do, we've got some new releases, Drix.
Oh yeah, it's once again that time to inform you of what is coming out and what is around the corner for this week.
Now, we don't have a ton of nothing too big, heavy hitter, nothing that's gonna like knock your socks off, I guess. Nothing heavy hitting, huge. You could still sit on your Dragon's Dogmas, your Unicorn Overlords, your Rise of the Ronins, any of those that you might be still chewing on, these big open world games. But
yeah,
these are a couple of these two pieces of content. They're pretty highly anticipated. With the first one being the long-awaited DLC for Final Fantasy 16 called The Rising Tide. We have the trailer up on the B-roll right here.
Very nice.
And from the Rising Tide Final Fantasy XVI website, quote, an unmarked letter arrives at the hideaway containing a request most curious. The dominant of Leviathan, long-lost icon of water, is in need of rescue. To heed this call, Clive and his companions must journey to Mysidia, a hidden land under a blue sky, where they will uncover the tragic history of a forgotten people. The DLC brings a new quest line, new weapons, more side quests, and an increased level cap to continue Clive's adventures through the world of Final Fantasy XVI. This DLC releases tomorrow, April 17th, 2024. Now, Drix, I know you are a recent adopter of the PS5, and I know you've been wanting to play some Final Fantasy XVI. Do you think you might hold off on maybe a complete edition?
I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards getting a physical copy. So at some point I may or may not, add this DLC to the package if they don't bundle it together just yet. Because, yeah, who knows? There could be even more DLC coming for Final Fantasy 16.
Yes, and you know what? This game was originally not supposed to. This DLC was, if Yoshi P was to be believed, this was not planned. This was just something that they ended up throwing together after the success of the game, or after the reception of the game. So we'll see what's going on, if they have anything else in store for us.
Yeah, maybe an adaptable pivot made by Square Enix based on new information and that good data.
Indeed. And that is Final Fantasy 16, The Rising Tide, coming out tomorrow, April 18th. Exclusively on the PS5. The next up, we have No Rest for the Wicked. Now, this game has been in early access. Here, I'm going to throw up the trailer right here. Now, this has been in early access for a little while, and this is from the makers of Ori and the Blind Forest. I dare say, cozy little platformer on the Xbox. One of the few games on the Xbox One that's recognizable. So,
yeah, definitely a signature art style for that one.
Absolutely. And from the Steam page, quote, from Moon Studios, the award-winning developers of Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, comes No Rest for the Wicked, a visceral, precision action RPG set to reinvent the genre. And you know what? This one's looking pretty good, Drix.
Yeah, it's like a bit of isometric flair, but like, you know, you get some other camera angles worked in there. A lot of great looking visuals. And I don't know, the art style looks cool. It's gritty and yet somehow more animated and more, I don't know, more cartoony than Diablo, but just as brutal looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you know, this game, you're seeing it here on the B-roll. No Rest for the Wicked, a far cry from the cozy forests of Ori and his Will of the Wisps in the Blind Forests and all that jazz. Like, I played those Ori platformers, and this is very, very much a different breed of game coming out of Moon Studios. Looks very cool. I'm very interested. Like I said, it's been in early access.
A bit more dire.
Yes. Like I said, it's been in early access for a while, but the 1.0 patch hits PC exclusively tomorrow, April 18th.
Very nice. Get yourself a finished game.
100%. And you know what? If you are a fan of Diablo 4, and you are not a fan of what they've been doing with it, this looks like it might be the thing for you.
Yes. Substitute. No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, there will be no rest for any type of wickedness, for that matter. Because, Drix, the music go on. What do we got here?
We are listening to Terran, song number 3 from StarCraft.
A favorite of mine, the Terran theme from StarCraft. I loved doing battle to this one on multiplayer games. Here we are, CFM Radio. We'll be back. CFM Radio, we are back.
Yo, yo. That was the theme of Roll from Marvel vs. Capcom. A vocal version.
Oh, yeah. I forget Marvel vs. Capcom had vocal versions.
Yes, and the song before that was from the first Yakuza game called Coming to My Life, also known as Ryoga Gokuto. Something like that.
Yakuza, man. Yakuza has so many classic, iconic tracks. Like, you can't go through a Yakuza game and not come out. It's like Japanese GTA. You got to come out humming these bangers that you're just like, man, I'm hearing them all over the city while I'm beating the shit out of people. Like,
yeah. Humming the melodies from the gangster flicks, of course.
Absolutely.
And, as an example, that it started from the first one.
Yeah.
It's always been good if you're just catching up, turns out.
Oh my God, Yakuza games, if you haven't given them a shot, if you have not given those a shot, those are on Game Pass. You got to play them. Like,
yeah,
play them
probably
all.
Not a bad Yakuza game out there.
No, I don't think so. Like, even though a Dragon ones, the turn-based ones, they're so awesome. Like,
yep. They'll serve it up any way you like to dish it out.
Hell yeah. And you know what? Yakuza's great, but Final Fantasy is the OG Japanese turn-based RPG. So many would say. I mean, that is if you don't count Dragon Quest. But
yeah.
And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the new hotness around town. Everybody loves the FF7 themed minigame simulator. But
yes.
While that is the new hotness, it seems that FF16 was actually the entry that brought more eyes on the franchise, Drix.
Oh, yeah? As long as the flagship series can still serve as a flagship series.
Yeah, one would hope. And from Push Square, Final Fantasy 16, the headline is, quote, Final Fantasy 16 successfully expanded the series to new, younger players, says Square Enix.
Yeah, not turn-based, huh? Maybe it did something.
Nah, it might have moved the needle a little bit, because from the article, quote, speaking in an interview with Push Square, DLC director Takeo Kujiroka gave us some insight on the matter. Quote, in recent years, players of the Final Fantasy series have tended to skew towards a higher age range. However, this time there are survey results showing that more people in their teens and 20s played Final Fantasy 16.
Wonder if their parents played Final Fantasy.
True. I wonder if their parents knew that Final Fantasy 16 was rated M.
Hopefully they were aware.
He continues, quote, I think this shows that, to a certain extent, we've achieved one of our initial goals, to have players of all ages play the latest Final Fantasy game. This doesn't mean that all future Final Fantasy games will take a similar direction to Final Fantasy 16, Kujiroka clarifies. But I do think it means that we've been able to bring new players on board and open new possibilities for the development teams that will work on future installments of the series. Drix, Final Fantasy 16 is a hit with the kids.
Good. Glad to hear it. Somebody's got to be, almost anime degenerates. And hopefully they're not, digging too into the wrong places in Final Fantasy 14. But, yeah, get into it. Enjoy the new, faster-paced, action-packed Final Fantasy. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I know I'm going to enjoy it already from, all the reporting we've done and from other friends I know that already have it. It's definitely highly recommended, especially as something to pick up to really show off what the PS5 can do instead of the, cold cot nostalgia trip that the 7 Rebirth series is turning out to be with the, some liberties taken with the narrative, but much better graphics.
Oh yeah, and a lot more card games from what I understand.
Oh yeah, you've definitely made that joke to me when I was playing the first installment of the remake. It's like, yeah, that's why you play Final Fantasies, isn't it? For the mini games.
The card games, sir.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, card game is back and in action.
I want to play Tetramaster, Drix.
Yeah, 8 and 9. One's better than the other. Who knows? And also the yellow paint platforming that has seeped into a lot of modern games. A little bit of training wheels there.
Listen, yellow paint platforming. Everyone gets their panties in a wad about yellow paint platforming. Listen, guys, there are plenty of games where there are climbable areas that aren't painted in yellow, and guess what? They're bonus areas.
In this game, in 7 Rebirth.
Well, I think in a couple of there are a few areas that you could climb in 7 Rebirth that aren't obviously apparent, that are a little bit off the beaten path, but 7 Rebirth specifically, a little bit linear.
Yeah, it's not like Doom or Wolfenstein where you're like bumping up against every possible wall, like hitting the action button looking for a secret door.
Right.
Probably not. Definitely not to that extent.
I think those days are over. Well, I mean, thank God, but still.
Maybe we've got better things to do now.
Definitely have some.
I don't know.
Hey, but you know what? Here's what I'll tell you, Drakes. And unfortunately, I don't have any B-roll. Damn, I don't have any B-roll for this next story. But we're just gonna throw on some Armored Core then. That's a good old nice standby because it's action packed. Because Drix, you're sitting here, you're saying you got to move on, but did you ever play Lawbreakers? It's dead now.
No, I might. Have I missed my chance to play Lawbreakers?
Well, Drix, it's funny that you say that because, first of all, Lawbreakers, it was a crazy zero gravity arena hero shooter where you could use your gun to propel yourself the opposite way that you were shooting. So you could like shoot behind you and like move yourself forward. And like when you're shooting in front of you, you're like flying backwards. Like it was a pretty cool game. It had a lot of great concepts in it. But Drix, I'll tell you what. Had a hell of a learning curve.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anybody's still playing Team Fortress 2, but it sounds like Rocket Jump, the game.
I mean, Drix, I loved Lawbreakers. That game was crazy. Once you figured out how to move around and just fly through and just destroy people, take heads off, it's fucking awesome. And I liked it a lot. And it seems like a surprising amount of people also did. And it's funny, I don't think you've missed your chance to play, Drix, because from MP First, quote, the headline is, Lawbreakers being revived unofficially, public test happening this weekend.
Wow, okay. Don't call it a comeback, but it could be coming back.
We might very well. Cliffy B is also giving it his blessing, the original creator, from the article, quote, it's not an official relaunch by now defunct Boss Key Productions or Nexon, but rather by an indie group headed by Reddit user Red Commander and calls themselves RELB. The dev team announced their plans to bring the game back a year ago, and now the game is going through its first public playtest. Over on the RELB Discord, the dev team announced that the launcher is now available for download. However, this being an unofficial revival, don't expect blow-by-blow updates on the changes, of course, and of course, support won't be as robust as before. That's the quote. The article also continues with a few questions answered by RELB on the mission statement of the project and the passion that's going into it. Drix, this is kind of a cool thing.
If you get a Reddit community just on the right track and behind something, like there's a lot to be gained from that. So it's nice to hear that this is just a community passion project resurrecting this dead game.
Yeah, this straight up. Here's the thing too. You hear a lot about these games that go offline, and they have a fan servers that are still active and stuff like that. Like City of Heroes is a good example. City of Heroes came back officially because it had a fan server that truly kept a secret for like 3 years before the public discovered it after the game was shut down. Like So very, very interesting, interesting idea. A lot of these old school GameCube and Nintendo games, Mario Strikers, Mario Superstar Baseball.
Oh man, or the competitive Mega Man Battle Network scene.
Yes.
That existed for a bit.
Yeah, that got revived on the Switch. All these games have hot and poppin' competitive season. I would have never known that Mario Superstar Baseball or Mario. It's not Superstar. What was the GameCube one? The one on the GameCube, the Mario Baseball on the GameCube, that has a healthy online competitive scene, Drix.
Wow. Yeah. Don't you have to have a modem in that GameCube for that?
Hey, you know what? With modern technology, anything is possible, right? Like,
yep.
A
series of tubes.
A series of tubes, the Warp Pipe Project, if you will.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Drix, you're right. Once you have an active...
Super Sluggers. That's what it is.
Super Sluggers. There you go. Mario Super Sluggers. You look it up, Dinger City on YouTube. People be playing that game in a competitive capacity. The old school Mario Strikers, City of Heroes. What other? There's a lot of dead MMOs that still. Warhammer Online, Age of Reckoning still active. Has I think 3 private servers that you can play on.
Wow. Yeah, there's probably a few out there for Final Fantasy 11 too. I think
yeah,
popularized a regular version of that, but there was definitely a bit of that going on for that game. Oh no, Super Sluggers is Mario Baseball for the Switch. Superstar Baseball was for the GameCube.
Superstar Baseball, that's the one for the game. Yeah, Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube. That's the one. But no, I know that there for a fact there's Final Fantasy 11. Final Fantasy 11, like it's a specific patch because I think Final Fantasy 11 is actually still going. It's still live. But I know that there's fan servers for like patch like 7 point something. I forget which patch, but it's one of the one everyone liked. But it just goes to show that, and this ties into another story that I was gonna throw it in the show, but it kind of seems like there's really nothing you could do about it. Ubisoft has been removing the crew, the original game, the crew from the libraries of people who bought it because it's offline. You can't play it.
Huh. So they are making efforts to make sure that something like Lawbreakers doesn't happen.
Yeah, see, and that's kind of where I stand on that idea because, like, hey, listen, like, it might be defunct and you might never be able to play it anymore, but you paid for the right to have that client sit and be useless on your PlayStation, right?
Yeah, you can at least look at it in your digital collection and admire it.
And install it onto your PlayStation and try to play it and then just be met with a can't play the game, servers offline message. You have the right to do that. You paid for it. And it's and you're right, Drix, if you do that and you literally force the game out of somebody's digital library, I don't even think Steam does that. I think I have a bunch of dead games on Steam.
Yeah, definitely stuff they don't sell anymore because things have a way of turning off and on, but you can still play them. They're still in your Steam library.
They're in your Steam library. Even if they don't do anything, you still you could have something like what happened to Lawbreakers happen with your game. If the people are passionate enough, they will get it going. But the developers and the publishers and the creators, they need to be on board.
Yeah, you're better off, lest you get one of Nintendo's famous cease and desists or something.
Sheesh. Yeah, the Nintendo ninjas, you got to be careful.
Yeah, they've been around. They've been doing this a long time.
Since they fought off King Kong? They fought off Universal? You
bootleg cartridges, that were showing up places. Next thing you know, the Nintendo Ninjas have arrived.
Sheesh, and they will get you. But what we will be getting is out of here, folks. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's a little bit of a dry spell in the games industry these days. We don't have a ton of new releases. There isn't a ton of movement going around. Yeah, I mean, shit, Drix. There wasn't even a bunch of layoffs this week. What the hell?
Woo, blessings. Yes, everybody kept their jobs, and we don't have to tell you about who lost theirs.
Thank God.
Yes. We're reoptimizing and trying to be as optimistic about that process as we can. Yes.
But I am about to go and optimize my gameplay for some Age of Wonders 4. I don't even know if you can. That game is so open-ended. But
yeah, maybe I'll be seeing the end of all the Spider Pals in the two Spider-Man action game. I keep saying,
Hi, yes,
I'm Spider-Man. Meet my friend Spider-Man.
Meet my friend Spider-Man,
who is also Spider-Man.
Okay.
I'm not with it.
Now that you have experienced the Spider-Man, this is my friend Spider-Man element of Spider-Man 2. How do you? I felt like it was like a little cheesy when I was playing through. I was like, that's funny, and it's kind of like the first few times I heard it, I was like, oh, that's kind of clever, and then they do it until like the end of the fucking game, and you're like, guys,
yeah. And Harry Osborn, wearing the black suit says, "Yeah, we're Spider Pals," and it's just like, yeah, that's the joke. It's funny.
Yes, guys, that's absolutely it. Thank you, Harry. Very cool.
Yeah. The character from the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, who was in a musical about Spider-Man, about two Spider-Men. And I keep singing that the whole time.
Oh my God, I totally forgot all about that.
That was the whole joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only just begun to enter the multiverse. So.
Yes, the Spider-Verse, as it were. But I hope everybody listening is able to jump into their own gamer-verse, as it were. I forget what brand that uses that horrible term, but
sounds Ready Player One.
So, yeah, truly sounds pretty Ready Player One. But Drix, that'll be it from us. We'll see you on Monday.
Yes, it's been a pleasure not train wrecking my DJ set like Grimes at Coachella last weekend. Better luck next time.
Better luck next time, Grimes. Better luck next time, Blur. Better luck next time. Better luck next time. All the horrible botches at Coachella. CoachellaBotches.com, I guess.
Yeah, that's where I saw Drake cup the microphone and sound bad all night. Just
all night,
based on mic placement physics alone.
Sheesh. You know what, Drix? That makes me want to say fuck it and go play some Parappa the Rapper. That'll do it for us here at CFM Radio. Drix.
Yes. Thank you, and good night.
Good night. Remember to like, subscribe. Be sure to tune in on Monday for the beginning of Earthbound, then on Tuesday for the finale of Silent Bomber, unless I pull my hair out for 3 hours trying to beat the final boss.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who would. But either way, thank you everybody. Happy gaming and good night.
Good night.